Alright, a little update time. I don't know if you guys know this, but I actually have changed the name of the YouTube channel as well as my PlayStation ID. Thank you, PlayStation. That kind of sucks. I kind of really need to change the H2X, but I'm not paying $10 to do it. Doesn't really matter. So my new channel, as well as my new gamer tag, will be The Chicks Hicks. Honestly, I was looking at it, and apparently I've been going by Kratos7455, my PlayStation ID, since 2009. Crazy enough, it's about as old as my marriage. So yeah. So far, I haven't seen any issues with changing the user tag. I know they say there's some. I haven't played Dark Souls 3 yet. I know there might be some issues there. For the most part, worst case scenario, I may lose some save progress on certain things, but for the most part, I'm not in the middle of playing any games anyways, and if I play a game, I usually tend to start over from the beginning. So I have played a little bit on this. Since last saw, I actually went ahead and got through all the adventures on Nexus, and I started doing some of the adventures on IO, and then we'll continue to do the missions on IO. I think there's still some missions to do on IO. I have been able to do the Thunderlord, but these ones are a little more, I mean, at this early, you really need a power level. 214 and 170 is a significant boost. Now, eventually, I can start enhancing these, but right now, I don't have enhancement cores to use. I am using these. Faster sprinting plus the chain melee damage is actually pretty cool. Basically, we run as a Titan, you hit him in the face, and it basically chains this big electric to people next to it. I'm also really close to getting the third subclass, and it's the one I really want. Even though they did change a lot to all the arcs, this is arc week, so they changed a lot of the stuff going on here. I really want the solar class. I like that super a lot. Plus, it does have I believe it has the melting point, which is something you really want to learn how to use if you're going to play any PvE stuff. Just like my Warlock, I always have the Well of Radiance equipped a lot of times going into strikes or a lot of PvE stuff, because, or especially the Blind Well, because a lot of people really like that in their teammates. There's a lot of synergy, and they're great for melting bosses. So, let me see what else is going on. Let's see, I can go ahead and do that. I don't have, I might still have that. Yeah, this is actually, I did get this from my Warlock. I could pay the 500 silver to get it from my Titan, but then I wouldn't have it for the Hunter, and I'm not going to deal with it. So, that's what we're going to go with. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're going to go ahead and jump into IO. So that looks like we got one more adventure, and then we do have a final mission here, and then of course after that we'll get into what I sort of call the final chapter. Basically, there's a lot of adventures that open up in different areas, especially Earth. Earth opens up a lot as well, and then after that is missions left, and then the story's ended, and we can start working on the expansions. Okay. So I'll go ahead and we need to go this way. Oh yeah, Zero should be coming in tomorrow, which would be nice, and get another Zero bounty, get that going. Great. Also, if people don't know, I believe the Whisperer quest is on this planet. I still haven't got it. I really need to do that. Also, I'm still one mission away from getting the Thorn, and I'm really mad that I can't get it. I was able to find a couple people online to maybe come and join, but I had one guy who was like telling this other guy, oh yeah, you're kind of under level, but maybe we can go ahead and do it. And the guy who was under level was outperforming him, and this guy was just dying. He was like, oh yeah, I'm 699, I'm almost max rank and all this stuff, and he just did not show it. I don't know if he just wasn't paying attention or what. It was bad. And I did have some other guys attempt to do it, and it was kind of nice because they had me join up with them, and they were already on the final boss, which is where my previous attempt we had gotten to it, and we couldn't beat it. So I was like, well, maybe I have a shot, but we came pretty close once or twice. But just shy. The power levels of the other guys just were just not high enough, and despite everybody having mics and stuff, they just were not able to really shout out where they were wanting to go. So, eventually I'll get around to that. Honestly, I've got tomorrow off. I'm doing this one because I changed the channel, and I want to make sure if anybody was watching it, or if anybody decided to see some of my videos from before and want to know what's up, they'll know that in this one that's why I changed it. But yeah, I had to change it. I like Kratos7455's. You know, 745 is one of my like crazy super numbers. I just said something that always comes to my head. And then when I made it in 2009, Kratos was still, God of War was still pretty big.
Do you recall the War Mind Vault?
So, but I've been going by the nickname Chick since 6th grade. And to be honest, it's been, that's a lot longer than I would care to admit. So it's just, I'm comfortable with it. It's more me, it's more my personality. And, if I ever hit it big or whatever, even if I, got famous another way, and someone realized I had a YouTube channel or something like that, this way it all kind of syncs up a little better. But yeah, for those who don't know, the reason my nickname is Chick is because of my initials. My first name starts with a C, and my last name is Hicks. And I was playing football at the time, back when I was trying to be a sports guy. And my jersey was on, and on the back of my jersey said C with a period, and then Hicks. And I don't know why, but one of the really cold games, it just, for some reason, the period fell off of my jersey. And someone came up to me and was like, why does the back of your jersey say Chicks? And I was like, it doesn't. Actually, I guess now I think about it, I guess it does. And pretty much ever since then, I've gone by chicks, and I wasn't really popular at that school, to be honest. But literally, I think the year after that discovery happened, I had moved to a tiny town in Oklahoma, and when I was introducing myself, I mentioned that story, and for some reason, basically, after that, a lot of people started calling me chicks. And, you know, I didn't start out all that popular because I was basically trying to act the same way I had acted before. Because basically people mistreated me badly at the old school. So what I would do is I would just annoy the living crap out of them. And I was really, really good at it. You know, I got in trouble a little bit. For the most part, I would just annoy people until they kind of got in trouble. So when I started my new school, before I really ever gave them a shot, I was already annoying the crap out of them. So
We're making good progress. I have a suggestion.
but eventually, I sort of apologized and kind of told them, you know, despite the fact that I may have started it, you know, there was a lot of things they were saying about me that I didn't like. It was not very nice. And to be fair, honestly, they all apologized back, and I became pretty popular. Now, it was weird because I was like that really popular kid. Like, everybody knew me, everybody liked me, everybody said hi, everybody wanted to talk to me, but nobody really wanted to invite me to parties, or I was definitely not getting any dates anytime soon. But still, you know, the nickname Chicks actually kind of really helped. It was almost really marketing. Something else I probably should get out of the way, because I'm wondering if anybody is thinking it, anybody decides to watch any of these. A lot of people, when they think of Chicks Hicks, they think of the Cars villain from Cars 1, and he's sort of still obnoxious in Cars 3. And of course, his name is actually Chick Hicks. But I swear to God, I was going by Chicks Hicks long before that first movie came out. On top of that, here's an interesting thing. I can't prove it, but part of me has always thought that Pixar might have actually stolen my name. And you would think, oh yeah, like why would they? Because like I said, at that time I was actually in college, but still in a fairly small town. So again, you're like, well, why? How? There's just no way. Well, I have proof that those Pixar guys were in Oklahoma, because they actually traveled down Route 66 to film, to get the inspirations for Cars. And I literally, you know, they did not, I don't know if they necessarily visited my town necessarily, but they came within about an hour for sure, because I actually have pictures of them at a cafe. And who's to say they didn't grab a newspaper at some point on their travels? And I was a theater major actually in college, and some of my plays that I was in, I would put in the newspaper Chicks Hicks, or I would actually put my first name and then Chicks Hicks.
I don't see anything of interest in our kill data so far, Marshall.
So,
Are you sure these are the right vets?
I don't know. I can't guarantee it. It's just kind of weird.
You know, like
I will also say that I do know that it's not necessarily that unusual. I actually searched my name a couple times and found several people with first names that start with C and their last names start with Hicks. So I don't mean they weren't going for it as big as me. Like even my college professors called me chicks. So okay, I guess I should start paying attention to this. Like I said, this is one of the last adventures here, at least until we beat this world. But right now we're just, there was a war mind here and the Vex is still in it and we're trying to get it back. The main guy, well, Cora is the guy, the woman we're trying to sort of take to Savala to help fight the Cabal. But our main bounty guy in here is Asher Mir, which he's kind of a arrogant scientist type who, for the most part, doesn't seem to care about people. He's kind of funny. Like, that's really cool is, like, we're about to get to the last chapter, what I call the last chapter, and a lot of the adventures in the game towards the end are actually your handlers will be a combination of some of the people that we've met. So I think one of them does have Failsafe and Asher, which is two odd personalities docking together. Thanks, buddy. What's nice about this? Oh, fuck.
We got him, Asher.
I was about to say this is what nice is about.
Some files about Mars, something named Anna Gray.
Yep, that's a reference to the Mars when we get to the Mars expansion, the War
We'll
Mind.
have to take a look. I hope it's useful.
Hope is a logical fallacy. Only data leads to concrete solutions.
Recover some of my ammo. Alright, so let's look at what we got. Nice. Might as well. Okay. So let's see what we got. And then at least maybe get at least a mission done. See, we're getting to a point where my power level, yeah, is so high because of the extra. I'm getting gear that I can't even use now. That's okay though. Here in a little bit I'll be able to use my Polaris Lance. What, 3 levels away? Ah, man, so close to that too. Okay, let's see where the mission's at. Right next to me. What's the odds of that? And let me double check that there's no other adventures. Nope. Alright. Loading. Yep, so that's the name. This is ARC Week. They're sort of celebrating the ARC subclasses and all that. They just made a bunch of changes. Add some emotes. Yeah, see that adventure we were on, just on actually should take place after this mission, but I like to do the adventures before the mission, so but yeah. So I'm definitely off tomorrow, but I may decide to grind on my Warlock. Like I said, we got Art Week this week, and then we have next week's The Revelry, which is their new spring event, and I will be grinding some crap out of that, I think. The new armor looks really good, and also it looks really attainable, which is nice, because some of the, like the Valentine's Day stuff is really hard, because it's almost all PvP, and it's duos, which means you really need to have someone you like playing with you. But the new one is a new, using a new matchmaking event that's called the Verdant Forest, which is a lot like the Haunted Forest back in the Halloween, and I used to love that mode. So I still use my horror story to this day, which is the kind of the sort of a pinnacle weapon, I guess. It's sort of the weapon you were trying to go for. You grinded the currency until you got enough to it. And this new one is supposed to have a new weapon that's called the Arbalest, which is a pretty cool looking weapon. Now there's two things going on. One, they're saying it's kind of a quest, but the other one said that it's a purchasable item. So we'll see. I'm hoping, I mean, either way, I'll do it. I mean, I don't mind grinding if it's something like that, that type of event. But if it's a quest, I'm really hoping the quest is not crazy. Because they acted like it was mainly going to be the quest that you would have to go through to get the Revelry started with. Because I don't know if you guys know, but basically, they're going to give these items out, and they're supposed to... You're supposed to be able to use the new currency to like power up this tonic, this item, and then when you use the item, when it's charged up, you can choose to either have your grenades or your melee or your class ability, their cooldowns go faster or slower, or whatever you want to say. So they'll speed up they can speed up one of those. And then on top of it, they're supposed to start dropping, and like, the degree in which the bonus is, it depends on the new armor. And on top of it, you get these pretty cool, ornaments to put on your armor, and it's like, you know, flames shooting out the side. Of the helmets and stuff is pretty cool. And again, it's like, apparently the more of that armor set that you have, the bigger the ornament is. Like I said, there's supposed to be a whole quest where you get that, you sort of learn about the Verdant Forest, you learn how to use the tonic, and the cool thing is that tonic stuff, the big cooldown buff, is actually going to even be usable during Crucible, which could make things interesting. Which is something I don't know if I've been doing fairly well actually in the Crucible.
We've got the power going, but the drill is still in our way.
And I actually went ahead and did some competitive today, and I did lose 2 out of 3 matches, but virtually really the 2 matches I lost, we barely lost, and I had some really good plays in them. So I'm trying to grind some of that, so maybe I can get some of the pinnacle weapons, or at least, some of the easier to get ones.
Detecting a spike in paracausal energy. Sterile neutrino particles have quintupled.
He means watch out for the taking. You should hire a translator, Asher.
Yeah, that's that core I was talking. Hey, Taken. I think you guys have seen Taken when I've been playing. They're sort of really introduced heavily into this planet. It kind of reminds me of, if you play through Destiny 1 now, pretty much Taken can be seen from the very beginning of the game. But, you know, when Destiny 1 originally came out, Taken weren't in there until the Taken King started. But with now, if you play through Destiny 1, they're already there. They just don't really explain them until you get to the Taken storyline. They're pretty cool. They're probably definitely the most annoying enemies in the game. Like the goblin, I mean, every single one of them has kind of an annoying, like, addition to them. Because you can tell they're basically, they're just other enemies, but they're all shadowed because they've been, you know, well, taken. But they all have different things, like the phalanxes I just killed, the shields, the Taken version of them, the shields can like shoot these beams, but these like, I don't know, like air cannons at you. They don't necessarily hurt, but they shove you back. But they're put in a lot of different places where they can throw you off of stuff. The Scions multiply, the Acolytes pull out these small turrets. The Knights shoot fireballs from really far away. The Taken captains shoot these big things at you that sort of put you in another world type of thing, which is just annoying. These guys, their invisibility is even worse. And then just the regular Centurions or whatever, they've got this little like homing thing going on. And you can't shoot them, the homing thing, but sometimes you're not always given a chance to. See, there's the air blast. Actually, the goblins basically have the ability to basically give somebody invincibility. Like, don't get me wrong, the scoring can be a little annoying, but for the most part, they're fairly normal enemies. I mean, they have the ability to sort of, they don't really teleport, but they kind of become gas and then solidify.
I think we got the drill going.
Good. Return to the drill site and get into the war mine vault. I am eager to discredit Boo-Boo Zayla's plan to attack the Almighty.
Yeah, he doesn't like Zavala, for some reason. Alright. Let me know if you guys want to maybe see some Destiny 1. I'm actually still grinding one of my characters because the big thing is Destiny 2 right now, the way it's set up, it's really easy to be at the right power level for the next set of storylines. If you go through the main campaign, you gotta realize originally the main campaign stopped at level 30. You know, I'm already close to level 30, and I'm getting kind of close to the end of the main campaign, but not really. So I'll be plenty past 30 by the time I finish this. Meaning that when I start all the expansion stuff, I'll be past the power level requirement, and really there isn't as big of a deal with that one as there was with Destiny 1. So like I said, basically, you just keep playing. You just go, there we go, can't wait to do that. So yeah, you just continue to go. Once you've gone through one story, you start another story. But Destiny 1, it doesn't work that way. Honestly, you kind of do a little bit of extra side missions.
It sounds like someone's whispering in there.
To have the power level enough to even do the Taken King storyline stuff. And then when you're doing the Taken King storyline, I mean, honestly, I got better with my second character, but that's because I went ahead and used some of my legendary weapons, because legendaries don't drop nearly as high. I mean, eventually they probably will when you get farther up the power levels. But like
artificial intelligence.
Yeah, they just don't drop very much. So I was able to get a little bit of a boost, but even by the end of the Taken King, I still wasn't really even where I was still 50s, I was 50 and 70 light levels away from getting access to the final expansion in Destiny 1. So despite having beaten Destiny 1 like twice and beaten the Taken King stuff twice, I still have yet to play a single level of that final expansion where you go back there and there's the Iron Banner Lords and all that. I've never seen any of that besides the prologue video, and it's annoying. It just superly is. We've gotten kind of close, but the other thing is there's actually some missions from the Taken King that's where take place after the main Taken King campaign. And even those, I mean, you basically, you know, I've even gotten higher power level than I did, and the missions will actually show how easy they are compared to your power level, and they're still showing like hard. Like the Iron Banner, not the Iron Banner, but the Iron Lord DLC is showing like that it's very hard. I mean, at least it's not showing impossible anymore, but it's pretty darn close. So it's one of the things where if I do Destiny 1, you know, part of me has been thinking about restarting over with my Hunter, and maybe, just maybe, if by the time I get around to getting max level, in terms of, remember there's a difference between level and power level. Like I said, then this one level goes to 50, power level goes to 700. Destiny 1 is not even that really. It's I think 40 and 350, something like that. So, but maybe if I started again with the Hunter, and then I can sort of get my legendaries once I get to level 40 or whatever, and I can equip them. Maybe it'll give me a leg up, because like I said, your gear, you always will have some gear that drop higher than whatever your power level is. So if my power level is a little higher, that should mean that the stuff that will be getting dropped will be higher. Maybe, just maybe. Plus I like the Golden Gun super. And that's a Hunter super. So
Ikora, we're on our way into the vault.
This will be rich. I will ask the
yeah, just let me know if you guys want to see some Destiny 1. There is quite a bit of differences in some areas. Some things I really like about it. But honestly, I know there's a lot of Destiny 2 players on YouTube that are like, oh yeah, Destiny 1's way better. Maybe, like, to me, what I would rather have is I would rather have Destiny 2 stuff with some Destiny 1 stuff, like, kind of added into it, but on the level extra upgrade of Destiny 2. Like, one of the things I really like is, Destiny 1, their weapons kind of have, like, they level up to get more and more perks and more perk choices. They're not like this one where, you know, your legendary, you perks basically you just get to choose automatically from as soon as you pick up the gun. And then some of them will actually level up, as in their power levels will actually go up just through gaining experience for the gun, which to me is cool. Plus, I like that their classes, like in this one, you have basically, you have three subclasses, and then the subclasses, well, each subclass now sort of has 3 paths if you can get the new supers. But even then, there's really not that much customization. All it really does is give you the same options, but you get certain buffs and things to your abilities. While Destiny 1 has a lot of options. multiple grenade options, multiple melee options. Now they don't have a class ability like this one, which is what I like this. It uses class abilities. But then they also just have stats where you just there are things that make your super more powerful. I mean, it's actually really cool. And it was kind of fun to sort of pick the right things to sort of combine together and synergize. I've got to get rid of these. Problem is, I feel like my warlock. Like I said, it's always something that's always going to be an issue. I feel like I'm in my warlock.
Poorly. The Almighty is inextricably bound to the harmonic resonance of the sun's magnetic flux tubes.
What?
If Zavala blows up the Almighty, it'll take the sun with it. It's time I rejoined my fire team.
Your guardians worthy of the light. What is the price of such power and immortality?
Devotion, self-sacrifice, death.
Death. Explain.
Devotion inspires bravery. Bravery inspires sacrifice. Sacrifice leads to death. So, feel free to kill yourself.
Devotion. Sacrifice. I was born outcast. A runt. As is custom with the Cabal, I was cast aside and left for dead. I was taken in by an old scholar himself disgraced, who saw in me something redeemable.
Sorry guys, I'm having to send a couple messages real quick on my phone.
Taught me, trained me, and in return, I would become a vehicle for his revenge against an empire that failed him, that failed itself. Rejection, ridicule, torment, it made me stronger. I gave everything to do not just acceptance, but glory. Beneath my mask, still, is the face of devotion and sacrifice. I will not take the light by force. To do so would be to admit failure. And I never failed. Now, do you see why I will be chosen?
I see now. I see all that you have done.
Our operation on the Jolian was a success. Once the cage is complete,
we will have everything we need to begin the process of extracting the light. Dominus, everything we've worked for is here, for the taking. All that remains is your work. No, this is not the way, old friend. But it is the way. The only way. Not for me.
Yeah, I got a lot going on. So my wife's now working nights, so... But of course, anytime I have to work a day, I have to get up at 6 in the morning, which is what I'm able to do tonight. Since I'm off tomorrow, I don't have to get up so early. I'm actually in a play. I've been doing a lot of rehearsing. My wife's actually assistant directing it. Even my 7-year-old son is in it, so... It's kind of crazy. So let's look. So we got 2 more adventures. And like I said, I'll wait to do these until after the main story's ended. As you look at the power levels, recommended power levels. Like, just doing the adventures before the missions and stuff, like, your power levels are already there. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, there is one more thing I'll do. We'll go ahead and get that final subclass. That's a really easy thing to do. So I need to get my level to 26. So we will go ahead and do that real quick. I think it's in the EDZ. Yeah. So go to Earth. There it is. We'll go get this final subclass so I can start working on it. Because the solar subclass on the Titan will probably also be if I do start doing any Crucible with my Titan, it will probably be my main super with the subclass. Now, I said they had no supers, but most of the new supers are like, I don't know. Some of them are just mainly one-shot kills. I know the Warlock's Nova has a walking super that's pretty popular now. But like, I like the Chaos Reach, but it's not really useful in Crucible. And honestly, the Well is so much more useful for PvE.
But I suppose good things
At least when you're teaming up, I should say. If you're just by yourself, I mean, yeah, Well's still good, but if you're by yourself, I like to speed things up by having the super, like Chaos Reach, like an actual damaging super. That Crucible. Also, I'll probably start grinding some Gambit Prime soon. Also tomorrow, one of the things I might do is do some Black Armor stuff. So that may be something you guys see. If I do any streaming tomorrow or any YouTube videos tomorrow, I'm going to be doing my Warlock.
You ready for weird story time? I'm ready for weird story time.
Some Titan orders predate the city.
This is pretty cool. I like the way they did these.
Time. when light was an
sort of got a little more lore. Like, they got a lot of reading lore, which I don't mind doing from time to time, but it's nice to have some voice acting as well. But yeah, so my warlock, so I've got another gold weapon frame, actually one that I haven't had yet, the auto rifle, and I'm going to grind the little bit I have to do to get the weapon primed and then go do the forge, because I'm really grinding for the new exotics, especially yotes.
Battles and alliances beyond the wall.
But I have one more I can do
Now
this
the
week
light of
to
their
try
fire
out.
has at last found light among the city. Forge the fury of undying suns. Wield the hammer of soul with honor, Titan. It is a thing of legend.
How do I know the Sunbreakers? I fought with them at the pinnacle of the wall, shoulder to shoulder. They died right alongside us that day, for a city they felt had abandoned them. I admired that. Never thought I would see the light of the hammers in the city again. But that Guardian always surprises me.
Sorry, the phone that my little
Hey, we've got company.
2-year-old uses died. She put on the charger, but I had to give her my phone. One punch to the main guy and everybody went down. Okay. See, the first class you unlock, of course, you just do these story times, and then you start fighting. This one, they decided to do things a little differently.
Over there, another projection.
The Fallen were everywhere. Lord Saladin sent a regroup order to all channels. Zavala backed him. They weren't yellow, but it made my ears ring. Their exact words I can't remember, but Saladin and Zavala, their message was clear. All is lost. 6 of us took the wall that day, against orders. One of us a Sunbreaker named Lu Feng. She wasn't even from the city. We died, and died, and died. But we had each other. And we had our light. 6 of us. The wall held. Zavala and Lord Saladin made their counterattack.
It's pretty cool.
Zavala likes to say that survival is a temporary condition. To fight for it always. But survival is already owed to us. The collapse has come and gone, and yet here we stand. It is our nature to survive. Whether we like it or not. Guardians ask me, what should we fight for? How about peace? How about a city without fear? So Lord Saladin and Lady Efsidi. He'll hate that I'm telling this story, but Lady Efsidi. I like Lady Efsidi. She tells me everything. We like our stories, and we like our helmets. So, Effie, she lifts Saladin over her head. And she says, I never miss. She lifts him over her head, and she throws him. And he cranks his fist of havoc. Their combined arc energy singing like a drawn sword 20 miles down. He plummets into a fallen wall. He's like a cannon shot out of a friggin' anti-aircraft. Everything explodes. Her ghost was laughing when she revived him. They saved a whole village of people. This was the Dark Age. They had those villages. Lady Effie.
Here, I'll get my new super.
There's the shot.
Or my new.
Did you hear that? Take it. Inbound.
Let's clear the area first.
Must have a little light left to give.
And I love this super. I am Thor. Time to wreak some havoc.
Let's show the Taken what we've learned. anything to stop us from leaving. Nicely done. Let's get out of here. I'm ready for a change of scenery.
One of the few legendary items I have. And I can't even do it until level 20. Say that isn't weird at all.
I don't know why the Traveler keeps choosing to grant us powers. There must be others like us out there, fighting for what's right.
Alright, we're getting close to about an hour on this. Like I said, I not only do my streaming, but most of my streaming videos, I'm trying to sort of make them into YouTube videos as well. So, let's look at this Sunbreaker. So, I like the ones that attach to enemies a lot. Explosion. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's that one that I want. This is the melting point where it weakens enemies. That's pretty cool. That's cool too. Yeah, these are the ones that cause the sunspot. So grenade melee ability kills you with sunspot. And then passing through a sunspot causes your solar abilities to recharge faster and your super to last longer. Hammers create sunspot impact while standing out sunspots. You throw hammers faster. I mean, that's kind of cool too, I guess. But this is the one you really want. So, alright guys, well I think that's going to be it for today. Like I said, I'll have to see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to try to stream a little bit tomorrow with my wife. I'm off tomorrow, and my wife, despite working tonight, is going to go help to a yard sale for most of tomorrow, and she's even taking my two kids, over to the yard sale to play with her friends' kids as well. So, which means I may actually have this whole room and most of the house to myself, which would be a nice change of pace. So, like I said, I'll see you guys later. This is the Chicks Hicks, the original Chicks Hicks, signing off.